Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today's topic of discussion is mental wellness. And on the conversation around mental wellness, I want to talk about 3 unconventional ways that you can protect your peace. And I think that this is so important because there are so many things that we give ourselves permission to think, worry, and stress out about that are completely beyond our realm of control. And so these are some of the practices that I put in place to protect my peace, because life is happening all around us. I mean, there's so many things that can really stress us out, whether that's within our own lives specifically, or even in the broader context of social and geopolitical politics. Like, there's just so much going on. So I think that with all of the mayhem and to some degree chaos happening, like, we need to just be more mindful of how we protect our peace. And so these are the things that I put into practice to do that. And so my first one has to do with relationships, and these are personal relationships. And so the way that I have always protected my peace when it comes to the people that I am in relationship with is when it comes to relationships, I think a lot of us get stressed out about the longevity of the friendships and relationships that we have in our lives. And so I am someone who has been very, very comfortable with the ebbs and flow of life, and with the reality that sometimes you're going to grow out of specific contexts and situations and relationships, right? And so now I'm in a very happy relationship with my partner. I love him. Like, our growth journey is going to be like this for the rest of our lives. But when it comes to like the friendships that I've had in the past, they were for the stage and phase that I was in. And I think sometimes we cling to relationships that life is telling us we need to let go of. And that's often when like a healthy relationship starts to become really toxic, or maybe it was never healthy to begin with. So how we start to protect our peace is by valuing ourselves in that relationship. And when you value yourself and the way that you show up in that relationship, if you hold yourself to a specific standard, you have all the right and all the permission to hold that individual to a standard as well. And so if it is the case that you find that you have questions about the relationship, is giving you a reason to feel unsure or insecure about the relationship, if there are things that they used to do that they're no longer doing, if there are things that are happening that you find are, I guess, out of the norm, I think that all of those can be signs that maybe that relationship, that friendship specifically, has run its course. You know, there's always like this growth cycle with friendships. Like, everything starts off really, really great, and then you find yourselves a steady state where you have like a cadence and a dynamic, and then at some point something shifts and that dynamic starts to break apart. And I recognize that when that dynamic starts to shift and break apart, whether it's because of what you're doing in your personal life, how you're growing, the moves that you're making, if whether or not that creates a disconnect between you and I guess the dynamic that you had initially put in place, if there is not a positive reaction to it, if there's not support as it relates to it, if you find that it's creating friction where it shouldn't be, like they have a lot of opinions about how you're leading your personal life, but they don't need to have a front seat to it. And I don't know why it is the case that we often give people the opportunity and the permission to criticize the lives that we lead and the decisions that we're making, and allow that criticism to really influence our choices moving forward. I think if your focus is on alignment, if it is the case that you're doing things that you feel are best for you, if it's not coming from a place of concern because maybe you're putting yourself at harm's risk, I think about the intention behind it, of course, but think to yourself that, you know, sometimes people in our lives, especially friendships, when we can grow in and out of those friendships for a variety of different reasons. And if life is giving you different signals that maybe a friendship has run its course, I think all of us know when that's true or not. And it can be intermittent, right? It can be like maybe for a period of time. It's better to just create a little bit of distance, and maybe you guys will grow back into that friendship in the future, however the case may be. But trust the timing of your life as it relates to that, and know that that will protect your peace, right? Like, I think sometimes we put so much energy and we create so much harm to ourselves, especially when it is the case that we cling to something that we should be letting go of. And I think that if it's toxic, if it's hurting you, if it's something that is really disrupting your peace, if you're finding yourself always having to, I guess, recircle back on specific themes that you thought had been discussed, like, I think all of those are just signals that maybe you've outgrown the spaces, the communities, and the people that you have found yourself in, and give yourself permission to outgrow them. I have recreated my life on multiple occasions. And while it's hard, it is always worth it. And there is more of the world to see than the world that you were born into, or the world that you are sort of navigating right now. I mean, there's opportunity, there are relationships beyond that. So don't think things start and end with your realm of reality. Your realm of reality always has the ability to change. And look, I've changed mine. And in changing my realm of reality, I find myself here in Portugal. I had lived in France for a couple of years. I moved across country in Canada. It gave me the opportunity to meet amazing people. It gave me the opportunity to meet my loving partner. And so all of that was because I dared to break free from my norm, right? And I think that that's going to be something that even myself and my partner do ongoing, but it's just something that I'm always tuned into by way of how do I protect my peace by making sure that I'm not clinging to toxic patterns or clinging to cycles that I should be breaking away from. So that's one of the unconventional ways that I protect my peace. Like the second one has to do with leisurely time. I think protecting our peace can be so much about how we decompress. And so I am someone who has a green thumb. I am a lover of all things that are plants and green. And so my place, and now you don't see it, like I try to hide them from the camera because they're for me, I guess. Like I have so many plants, but I don't want them in the camera because they're for me. They're for my personal enjoyment. I love taking care of them. I don't necessarily want them on the screen. I don't know why. But I think that there's just so much peaceful and calm energy that comes from plants. And I am not someone who understands people who like don't want plants in their home because it just changes the ambience completely. It just feels so warm, so inviting. They also can like clean your air. There's just so many benefits to taking care of plants. So I think the hobbies that we partake in to decompress are just so important. And so while I have a lot of different hobbies that I haven't taken back up since I've moved to Lisbon, that I really do want to, because I'm someone who's very artistic. Like I love to paint, I love to read, and I really haven't been making enough time to do those specific things. But one thing that is a non-negotiable is like my love and care of plants. And I think that loving something into life, taking care of something is just so important. And I used to have a Japanese fighting fish, Gino Uraji, which was, I think it's Japanese for silver lining. And there was just so much joy I had in taking care of my little Japanese fighting fish. And now I've always thought to myself, like, maybe I want to get another Japanese fighting fish because taking care of him gave me just so much peace and joy. But it was also very traumatizing when he died. And I don't want to go through that again. I think he died after 4 years. So I had it for a really long time. But yeah, when he died, it was a very sad thing for me. So I think that process is just a little bit too jarring. But plants, they go through this cycle of life and death throughout the time that you take care of them. And there's just something so beautiful about the way that they recreate themselves that just show us, I think they are my daily reminder that there's always an opportunity, there's always room to recreate yourself. And so sometimes I buy a new plant, I don't know how to take care of it, and like I do the wrong thing. And I'm someone who's a nurturer, so sometimes I can overwater my plants, and some of my plants do not want water more than once a month, right? And so I think about how they bounce back from my own ignorance, and I just see just so much resilience when I look at my plants. And so they give me so much to be thankful for, to feel grateful for. I think there's just so many life lessons we can learn just by seeing how a plant regenerates and sort of figures out life, and like the cycle of life in a plant itself. It's just so beautiful, and I feel like it's so grounding to just witness. And every morning, like if I have the time to just drink my tea, like I am admiring, loving my plants. And I think that there's just so much to gain from stepping away from our screen and loving and admiring the world around us. And I think plants give us a reason to pay attention. And this is unconventional. I don't think a lot of people could be so passionate about plants, but I am so passionate about them. And so I'm trying to break into like plants that actually will like nourish my body. So I've been trying since COVID actually, and I can't believe it's like 6 years ago, but I started my own little windowsill garden where I was trying to grow like different lemon trees and whatnot. And I grew like I grew like 8 lemon trees. I started to give them away as gifts because I ended up moving cross country. But there's just so much, I think, beauty and love and restoration that comes with taking care of a plant. So if you do not have a plant and you're listening to me ramble on about how much love I have for my plants and how much peace they give me and how they help me decompress and how they help me sometimes like recalibrate my thoughts around life, like this is the time to buy a plant. There is not a better investment that you can have in your life than a beautiful plant for your own enjoyment. So that's one thing that I think is an unconventional way of protecting your peace, like having something in your home that brings you peace. And so I remember I used to do this one training and we talked a little bit about having an artifact. And an artifact was something that you bought, like whether it was a piece of artwork or a plant or anything that when you looked at it, it reminded you to find your center. It kind of reminded you, it brought you back home to yourself if you find yourself like spiraling out of space in your thoughts. And so for me, my plants do that for me. And so I am someone who would love to spread the love around and like give everyone a reason to feel passionate about taking care of a plant. And like even even patience. I think I'm not someone who is a naturally patient person, but like my plants, like the love that I have for them, it gives me so much patience because their growth requires patience, right? And if it is the case that I did something wrong and then they have to like rehabilitate, then my patience is what's going to be like whether they successfully rehabilitate or not. And so I have learned so much just by loving and taking care of my plants, and it has protected my peace so much because no matter how stressful the day is, no matter how jarring it can be, coming home and having an array of plants surround me, it just brings me so much joy and so much peace, and I love them. And so plant babies definitely all the way, and like there's so many different varieties of them that like you can find your own sort of niche, but I love all plants. And like what I love about Lisbon is that there's so many species of plants here that I didn't see. I wasn't actively necessarily seeking them out in Canada, but the plants here are just so beautiful, so stunning. They give me so much things. I feel so much just wonder looking at plants, and like so many species of them as well. And so anyways, I'm rambling on about it, but it's a very unconventional way to protect your peace. But having plants in your home, different kinds of plants, and when you think about like the home that you live in as well, like think about like your air quality. Get a plant for air quality. Get a plant that helps you like decompress. There are plants that are stress sort of decompressing plants, and you wouldn't think of it. You wouldn't think that that was the case until you buy one and you put it in your home and you see how it helps you to decompress. You will be surprised and amazed. But yes, I am someone who has a green thumb. I love my plants. Up until now, like I had only really had house plants and different kinds of house plants, but I am breaking into like the fruit plant era, and I love to have like a vegetable garden, but I don't know. Like, I mean, it's growth in progress, but for now, like my plants really do bring me so much joy. They help me gain so much peace. And I just want to spread that love to everyone. For those of you who haven't thought like maybe a plant will help my mental health, like you have no idea just how peaceful a plant is, or even a pet. And if you're not like big into like dogs and cats, like again, my Japanese fighting fish, it was just me and him for 4 years. Kino Uraji, silver lining, he was my center. Like that little fish and I like this. Love that fish. And so maybe one day my partner and I can get a fish again. Like it won't have to be with him because when the fish dies, I can't take care of it. He will have to be the one to do that. But yeah, just food for thought for you. I'm kind of talking out loud, but hopefully food for thought for you. If you haven't gotten a plant, get a plant and let it teach you patience. Let it teach you to be a nurturer, because I think sometimes we think that we're born with these different qualities. And I think that nurturing is such a grounding quality. When you nurture something, when you bring life to something else, there's something that it feeds into you as well. I think it's something that is healing to your spirit. I think it's very nourishing as well. So part of how I even like support my own healing is by like taking care of plants, right? So I think I talk about plants way too much, but again, it is an unconventional way to protect your peace. And so the last one is fitness. And I think that this past month, so I talked a little bit about how I took a month off of working out because I had sprained my armpit trying to do a tricep push up. And so here's the thing about me, like when I am working out, I get into the zone. So even if I have bad form and my body is like screaming at me, I don't necessarily differentiate between good pain and bad pain at this state because my body's just conditioned to push through like the workout. And so that must be why I sprained my tricep, because I expected it to be painful. Like it's not something that I typically do. Like if it was ever in a yoga workout in the past, like I would meander away from it because it's just not a comfortable thing for me to do with my body. But I was like, you know, Rochelle, like let me push myself to the next limit. Like let me do these tricep push-ups. And like I did feel like incredible discomfort, but I just thought that it was because like my body was not used to it, and that if I continued to push my body through it, that I would just kind of build that muscle dexterity. But of course, I was like exercising bad form, so that was why I ended up spraining my armpit. But like that 1 month off, like the way that it changed how I showed up, like the way that it changed my energy levels, the way that it changed the way that I even saw my own momentum is drastic. There's just something about physical fitness and like in a way that suits you. Like I am not someone who is like a meathead. Like I'm not someone who's big into like lifting weights. I've always been a yogi. And so for this workout, because I'm trying to kind of get myself back to my own median, I'm doing a lot more cardio. And I realized that even a cardio workout, it gives you just such different effects. It gives you such a sense of calm, peace, a sense of grounding. Like the same that I get from yoga, the same but different, because then I feel like just so much energy surging through my body when I do a cardio workout that I didn't appreciate, because I don't necessarily like the discomfort that comes with cardio. Like I'm not like a fan of that part, but I am a fan of that high. It's like this endorphin high that cannot be paralleled by anything. And so for those of you who don't have fitness as part of your lifestyle, like I really really do encourage you to find the kind of fitness that fits within your life. And I think there's a fitness for everyone. If it's not yoga, it can be Pilates. If it's not Pilates, it can be a sport. And I have promised myself, I have my tennis racket. This is the tennis racket that I have bought, maybe almost 10 years ago. It is a beautiful Babolat tennis racket. I love it to pieces. And I have brought this tennis racket with me all around the world. And this year, I am going to really focus on getting better at tennis. I used to play it a little bit as a child. In high school, I played it a little bit when we would go on vacations on resorts. And so now I'm like, you know what, let me really try to get into it so that my partner can have a solid game of tennis. And so I'm going to get into it. But I think for me, working out, I like helix sports a lot. I like sports that I don't need someone else to get a good workout in. I think cardio, Pilates mixed with yoga give me that. But then the tennis gives me sort of the social element as well. And so I'm excited about getting back into tennis this year. I'm excited about what it will look like sort of in Lisbon, tennis in Lisbon as well. And yeah, I think these are different ways that I protect my peace. When I think about the relationships that I keep, I'm super, super protective of my time, of my emotional energy. I do not give it to just anyone. And I am someone who is ready. I can give a little bit. And if I don't feel like it's being well received, I'm happy to take it away. I'm constantly gauging and evaluating. I don't take relationships for granted, and I'm not on autopilot when it comes to relationships. I'm very present, and I need that presence back in return. And if I do feel like the relationship is going in a way that isn't serving me necessarily, and I'm not talking about normal healthy conflict, I'm just talking about feeling envy or feeling dissension, feeling something that is not a good feeling and something that you don't want in a relationship. I'm very much mindful of that, and I keep that as far away from me as possible as a way to protect my peace. And when it comes to plants, this is unconventional, but I am someone who is incredibly passionate about taking care of my plants. I love my plants so much. And in fact, anytime I've moved, I've had movers help me with my plants. And I tell them, these are my babies, these are my plant babies, please handle them with care. And they always do. I think they feel how much I love my plants so much. And so I want to spread that love. I think for those of you who are feeling I don't know, if you feel empty, if you're feeling void, find a plant, it will help you. And a Japanese fighting fish, again, it was me and Kino Uraji. I say his name because I named him that on purpose, because what had happened was I was traveling so much for work that I couldn't keep my dog. I had a dog at the time. Her name was Maya. So I ended up giving my dog up for adoption, but it was just such an empty feeling for me. But I ended up getting a Japanese fighting fish because it was just easier to manage. Even while I was out, I could put a feeder on and he would be fine, right? If I had travel for work. And so that was how me and Gino Araji kind of made it through those 4 years. But when he had passed away, it was a huge, huge loss. So I would have, even now in Lisbon, a Japanese fighting fish, except for I know the fact that they die. And I couldn't handle the death even when I had him at that point in time. I had to have my neighbor come and take care of it because I was bawling my eyes out. So it will have to be when my partner and I live together that we will definitely get Jap fighting fish. They're just beautiful, beautiful creatures to watch. They're just stunning. It's artwork. It's ballet underwater. So, I mean, taking care of life gives you life. It's very hard to feel down and out when you have life brimming around you. And if you're taking good care of your plants, they're brimming with life all around you. How can you not get joy from that? And then lifestyle. I think lifestyle is the 1 month off gave me just so much periphery by way of how my workouts really played into my sense of resilience, my sense of perseverance, my sense of endurance. I mean, lifestyle is such a critical factor in your own personal sense of fulfillment and well-being. And so those are some of the unconventional ways that I protect my peace. This video is very long. I hope that you enjoyed me rambling on about the things that I do that give me so much joy, so much peace. And I hope that you put some of it into practice and get some joy and peace out of it as well. In any case, if you are looking to find more support or guidance in self-mastery and in figuring out how to derive more meaning and fulfillment in life, I just want to let you know that we do provide adult programs. And so we provide programs that focus on clarity, development, growth, and topics like that give you the sense of mastery and inner alignment. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely tune in to our website, subscribe, follow us here as well. We like to have those conversations here as much as possible. And we also provide parent-child workshops. So workshops focusing on cultivating leadership quotient in children, giving the children a sense of inner direction. And so we feel leadership is something that all children have in varying degrees, qualities that we can nourish out of them, right? I think sometimes we think that leaders are built after they turn 18, and I don't agree with that. I think leadership is a quality that we can start to nurture and develop into each person at a very young age. And so that's what we're hoping to do on the premise that leadership is built on 4 core competencies, and that's focusing on cultivating a sense of self-concept, a sense of individuality and valuing their individuality, a sense of autonomy, self-efficacy, and compassion. So something for everyone in your family. Definitely be sure to tune in. Follow us across all of our social media platforms again, and I look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.